Krishna, the Supreme Personality. The king of Dwarka is sitting on the floor. Righteousness radiates from his lotus eyes. His skin, as dark as a lightning cloud, is covered with yellow silk garments. His bare chest is adorned with a garland made from jasmine flowers, and a green gem, the instrument of peace, sparkles off the gold pendant on his necklace. The soles of his feet are etched with inexplicable symbols. A flag, a thunderbolt, an elephant goad, barley corn, and a lotus. A peacock feather is nestled between the pleats of the saffron-colored turban he wears on his head. And the ends of his curly hair float above his broad shoulders. He is washing the feet of an old friend. The palace staff appear perplexed. They talk amongst themselves. Who is this lowly person? What pious acts has he performed to be treated with such rare affection from our king? The friend is Sudama. He studied at Sandipani ashram with the king. They parted ways during childhood, but Sudama's love for the nobleman has remained tucked away in his spirit. Today it flows from every pore on his body. Sudama is perched on top of the cherry-colored silken sheets of the royal bed, and the queen is fanning him. His clothes are torn and his veins are as visible as his fatigue. The king wipes droplets of water off Sudama's feet with the end of his lotus silk scarf. Take some rest, my friend, he tells Sudama. When Sudama is fully energized, he leaves the royal chambers for lunch. Downstairs, the dining hall whispers a layer of aromas. Sweet notes of saffron, cardamom, and rose. They overpower the earthy scents of cumin and turmeric. Large gold plates are decorated with various types of vegetable curries. They are served with rotis, puris, and kokum rice. For dessert, Sudama is presented with tempting dishes, kheer, halwa, barfi, kesar rasgulla, and rasmalai, which is topped with pistachio and garnished with rose petals. My friend, eat. You must leave here satisfied, the king says. Thank you for this food, says Sudama. Sudama, thank the food itself. Thank these servers. Thank the cooks. Thank the farmers. Thank the earth. In doing this, your gratitude will reach me, always. Sudama nods. His appetite becomes as limitless as the king's favor. He eats with vigor, savoring every bite. Sometimes, he glances at the king in rude, but the king offers a smile as a gesture of consent. Sudama wipes his mouth. Do you remember that time Guru Sandipani sent us out for firewood and the storms came? We had to spend the night atop a tree. Yes, I remember everything. What fun! My king, I have a confession to make. What is it, brother? That night, you told me you were hungry. I had food with me, but I never shared it with you. Please forgive my greed. Sudama's eyes are soaked with guilt. He looks down at his feet. The king chortles. Is that all? Sudama, do you not think I knew? You did? The king smiles so wide that his eyes smile too. I've come to make up for it. I do not have much, but I have brought with me some flat rice. It may not be enough for a king like yourself, but please, have some. It will make this old heart happy. If you eat, I'm sure the entire universe will be satisfied. My friend, if someone offers me with love and devotion a flower, a leaf, a fruit or water, I accept it. And you, Sudama, are overflowing with love for me. How can I deny this flat rice you offer? The king takes the rice and eats a handful. As he goes for a second handful, Queen Rukmini stops him. That's enough, she chuckles. Another handful and the universe will be showered with wealth. What is wealth? A piece of gold is not better or less than a piece of straw, says Krishna. Life is just perspective. Sudama is perplexed by their statements. Before Sudama had left to see the king, his wife wanted him to ask for some of the king's wealth. Surely, a king who has everything would not mind if his childhood friend were to ask him for a morsel, she told him. I am a Brahmin. How can I ask for anything in return but his friendship? This is enough for me, Sudama had replied. Sudama returns to his village. He is unable to confess to his wife that he had not asked the king for anything. The people of the village are gathered outside a tall house covered in gold. The roof is made from crystal quartz that reflects a rainbow of light out towards the city. Clay planters sit outside large glass windows. The garden is stocked with red, yellow, and pink rose flowers. 2 mango trees adorn the entrance. Whose house is this? Sudama asks. Sudama's wife comes out of the crowd. She looks healthy, as though she too has been fed well. She wears a heavy embroidered, canary yellow sari. This is ours. Can you believe this is ours? Your friend, the king, is gracious indeed. Sudama's eyes fill up with tears. I did not ask for anything, but he knew what was in my heart, and more. A friendship with the king of Dwarka is the highest of friendships. Sudama continues to remember the wisdom of his friend every second of every day. He lives in opulence, but he does not allow himself to become attached to it. He shares his wealth with his neighbors. He grows an abundance of food in his garden, which feeds the people, the animals, and the birds and insects. When Sudama departs from the earth, his soul is united with the king, Krishna.